What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City live stream, where today we're going to be doing the live watch-along of Manchester City's home game against Newcastle United in the Premier League. Before I do crack on with this live stream and all the talking points from this game, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then please do leave a thumbs up on the video. We'll start that again. We are aiming for 100 likes. We're already 1/5 of the way there with 20 likes, which is fantastic. So just 80 more to go. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this after the stream or in the live chat. We've got Nadir in the team. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Also joining us in the JSGC team, we've got Kaura. Thanks for tuning in. Quicksilver, thank you for tuning in. Hassan, thanks for tuning in. And Dave as well. Let's see what the chat's saying, actually. So Nadir reckons not going to be positive for Manchester City today. Reckons City going to get smashed. Doesn't know how Gundogan is starting in this game. We'll speak about that. We will speak about that. Kaura, thanks for tuning in again. Echoing pretty much what Nadir said about Ilkay Gundogan starting, where the concern is. Rico Lewis starting for Manchester City as well. Quicksilver says the fresh legs of Rico needed against a young Newcastle team, but Gundogan starting causing the concern there in central midfield. Nadir saying 3-1 to Newcastle. He reckons it is. Score prediction. Get your score predictions in the chat. That would be much appreciated. Hassan says, why Rico? We'll speak about that. Rico, he says he's bad at defending. We'll speak about that in just one moment. Nice to see some positivity there from Leeds and City and Leeds fan channel saying 1-0 for Manchester City. Dave, thank you for tuning in as well. Says going to Huddersfield tomorrow to see Warrington. So he's hoping it's going to go better than seeing Middlesbrough. Who's Middlesbrough got today? Do let me know. Right. Yeah. Interesting team. We'll speak about that in just a sec. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. Social media links there in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Finally, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. They're going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores from around the grounds. They're going to keep you guys up to date with the latest team news, the latest match information, statistics, and so much more. Not just limited to football. It's got you covered with all the sports that you guys love to follow. If you are just like Dave and you like to follow rugby league, it's covered on there. Rugby union, it's covered on there with the Six Nations going on. It's got you covered with cricket, with darts, with American football when the season starts again, which isn't until September, but you do want to go and check out the SofaScore app. It is free to download and it is also very highly rated, so do go and check it out. Links and details, they are in the description. So I'm going to roll my promo video for you guys right now. And a big thank you there to SofaScore for sponsoring today's video. So, I'm going to get the SofaScore all up, locked and loaded for you guys. We'll go through the latest match information. We'll then look at the teams and we'll really get into them talking points, especially about Ilkay Gundogan and also Rico Lewis starting in today's game. So this game taking place at the Etihad Stadium. The game's not being broadcast live in the UK. I have no idea why it's not being broadcast live in the UK. You'd think that such a big game between City and Newcastle, two very good Premier League teams going toe-for-toe in what I'm expecting to be a really close game of football. I'm amazed that it's not being broadcast, but here we are. So, first up, the match information. This game is being officiated by referee Andy Madley, who averages a red card every 1 in 10 games and also averages 3 yellow cards per game as well, with the game taking place at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester in the United Kingdom. As I did say, this game not being broadcast today in the UK. It does mean we're going to be using a stream. It does mean that I am going to be behind those who are able to watch in real time. So I would appreciate anybody tuning in not to spoil it for me so I can give my genuine reaction. I like to keep an eye on the chat and interact with everybody. So if I am a little bit behind, then I do apologise. If my stream drops or anything, I will just let you know that if I miss anything, do let me know in the chat. But if I'm doing my live watch along, I'm commentating and speaking about the game, then presume my stream's running okay, and I would appreciate if anybody is ahead of me, which can't be helped as the game isn't being broadcast here in the UK, then I'd appreciate nobody spoiling it for me, because I like to give as legit and a genuine reaction as possible to everything that is happening in the game. Also, whilst we're running over some rules, do make sure you're keeping things clean and keep things nice and friendly. That's pretty much the only rules we've got here on the JSGC channel. Anthony, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. RTD, thanks for tuning in as well. Kroll, thanks for tuning in, welcome, much appreciated. Nice to see everybody tuning in, nice to see some regulars in here as well. Mudgy, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated as well. So we'll start first with our opponents, Newcastle, lining up with a 4-3-3 formation, which I find quite interesting, because I was speaking in my preview about defence and how many defenders are they going to have fit. It seems that Newcastle haven't got all of their defenders fit, so they are having to kind of change things up. Normally, I'd expect to see Newcastle going with a back five and see them tightening up a little bit. But if I'm looking at a back four and I see Kieran Trippier and Lewis Hall starting today, then they're going to have to defensively be on it for Newcastle, because they're going toe-for-toe with some of the best attackers out there, including the likes of Omar Marmoush, Phil Foden, Savinho, Erling Haaland, and they do a lot of running for Man City in attack, so they're going to be in for a very busy afternoon. So Kieran Trippier, so I'm looking at him, 34 years old, and I'm thinking, you know, we've got to be having a run at him, we've got to be fancying our chances, and I'm hoping that if we can make this a running game, then that Newcastle back line, goalkeeper's 36, right back's 34, centre backs are 32 and 33. They've got experience there, but they've not got the running, so we've got to try and make this a game about running as far as I'm concerned. So I'm amazed that Man City didn't do their homework and know this beforehand, that they would be thinking to themselves, well, you need plenty of legs in midfield. And if I'm thinking about plenty of legs in midfield, the last person really I want to see starting is a 34-year-old Ilkay Gundogan for Manchester City. I would rather, if you wanted a little more ball control, you go obviously with Mateo Kovacic and Nico Gonzalez starting, but to make sure that Kovacic isn't in the team and you go with Gundogan instead, I'm not too sure. And if City we don't have loads of options. Obviously, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne can play there. Both pretty tired from the Real Madrid game. So for me, there were never going to be options. But I spoke back in my preview about the importance of having and utilising high-quality young players. James McAtee, Nico O'Reilly, they must be looking at this and being very, very frustrated. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Man City are a better team with, having 18, 19-year-olds in our team. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. But I'm just a bit worried about Man City and having legs in midfield. You need runners. I look at Newcastle's midfield. Bruno G, 27. Joe Willock, 25. Sando Tonali, 24. They've got a lot of running in there. There's a lot of physical presence. They're brilliant at moving the ball. There's some tough tackling in there. Good with their pressing game. And I'll look towards the attacking line. A 25-year-old Alexander Isak, a 23-year-old Anthony Gordon. It's got pace for days. And with Man City's high line, it will cause some problems. Now, what I do like about this team is the defence. I know that Rico Lewis is starting in this game. I imagine the choice was between Rico Lewis or Matheus Nunes. Now, Rico Lewis is given the nod here. I can't imagine he will be given the nod on Wednesday night in our game against Real Madrid. So, because of that, I imagine that Matheus Nunes will be starting that game ahead of Rico Lewis. So it's always just going to be a toss-up. Which one's it going to be? Is it going to be Rico Lewis? Is it going to be Matheus Nunes? I personally would have gone with Matheus Nunes, but here we are. We do see John Stones start this game, which does surprise me. Now, it looks like he's going to be going in at centre-back rather than defensive midfield, and I feel like John Stones is at his best when he's helping to dictate the pace of the game in midfield, which I'm hoping that Nico's going to do really well for Manchester City today. But John Stones looks like he's going in at centre-back, Josko Gvardiol on the left-hand side, and really good to see Abdukodir Khusanov starting once more for Manchester City. So I look at that and I imagine Khusanov's job's going to be he'll have done his homework on Anthony Gordon to try and keep him as quiet as possible in this game. John Stones' job will be to try and offer a bit more physical presence into defence that if long balls are coming over the top, that you've got the likes of John Stones being able to deal with them. I'd have preferred to have had a bit of physicality in front of John Stones, but with Manuel Akanji now out until the middle of April, maybe even to early May, there's not really much physicality about Manchester City, especially when you've not got Ruben Dias available. So, and I always feel like City are a bit more disorganised when we don't have Ruben Dias. So there's plenty about this team that's causing me concern. The good news is the starting age of Manchester City's team has dropped right down. It's at 25 years old, normally at around 27 to 28. So it's amazing what you do when Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne aren't around the team, that the average age really dips there. And this is the direction long term that City are going to be looking towards. 20-year-old Rico Lewis, 20-year-old Abdukodir Khusanov, 23-year-old Josko Gvardiol, 23-year-old Nico Gonzalez, 20-year-old Savinho, 24-year-old Erling Haaland, 24-year-old Phil Foden, 26-year-old Omar Marmoush. There is a lot of running out there for Manchester City. They don't have the experience, and this is what transition is all about. It's going to take a good couple of years for Manchester City to be in the position of where they want to be. So to me, you just got to find the right balance between experience and using young players. There'd have been, for me, I'm pretty happy with that team. The two that's obviously the standouts for me is Rico Lewis. I'd have preferred for Matheus Nunes to have started. With Ilkay Gundogan, I'd have preferred for Mateo Kovacic to start. I think if you put Nunes and Kovacic in for Lewis and Ilkay Gundogan, I'd have been very happy with that. But I do think Ilkay Gundogan, I'm worried about the legs in midfield, but I do think he's been unnecessarily treated by some Manchester City fans in being blamed for what happened on Tuesday night against Real Madrid. I don't think Ilkay Gundogan did a lot wrong for Manchester City. In fact, in the lead up to the final Real Madrid goal, Kovacic should have cleared it. He put Rico Lewis in a position. It weren't Gundogan that was involved. It was just he'd come onto the pitch and everyone sees an old age in Ilkay Gundogan and they automatically want to jump on that ship. And the same can be said whenever Kyle Walker or Ederson were making mistakes. But to me, there's always scapegoats there. But I've expressed before, and I'll express it again, my concern about Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis is not a physical player. He's 5'7", doesn't have a lot of muscle. I'm worried about him being bullied by a very physical Newcastle team. And I just feel like Newcastle looking at and thinking Rico Lewis is the weak point. They want to have a pop at that right-hand side, and it's putting a lot of pressure onto Abdukodir Khusanov. Now, if he puts in a really good game here for City, and we've got Nico Gonzalez back into the starting 11 as well, and he can help for Manchester City's midfield to have more legs and start pulling some strings, and you can find a way to get that lovely, lovely attacking lineup from City. Savinho, Marmoush, Foden, Haaland, lots of pace, lots of precision, lots of accuracy there. You can get them involved in this game, then you've got every chance of success. But Newcastle are looking at that, they're rubbing their hands. They like a 34-year-old Gundogan in there. They like Rico Lewis starting in there. And that's where my concern is as well, guys. I'm hoping that they're going to prove me wrong. I'm hoping come the end of the stream I'm going to be saying we were wrong, I was wrong. Man of the match performance from Ilkay Gundogan, pulling strings, grabbing a goal, getting an assist. Rico Lewis everywhere on the pitch. That's what I hope. That's what I want to see. Obviously, Pep Guardiola deals with the players week in, week out. He sees a lot of what they offer in training, and I'm hoping that they're given their opportunity here that they can showcase what they can do. Now, I think if we were playing a bottom half team, I'd feel a bit better about the team and having a bit more rotation with the games that we've got to come. Real Madrid away from home, Liverpool at home, Tottenham Hotspur away from home, Nottingham Forest coming up in the Premier League away from home as well. These are very big games where you need all of your best players available. So we've not got much of an opportunity to do much rotation. So obviously Man City have seen this game as the ideal time for us to do a little bit of rotation, which doesn't surprise me. I'm a bit surprised about who's come in and where the rotation is. Johnny Stones doesn't do 3 games in a week, so John Stones isn't starting against Real Madrid is how I'm looking at this. That causes me a bit of concern. So, yeah, anyway. So, Newcastle 4-3-3, Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Schar, Burn and Hall as their defence. Obviously, not fully fit to see I was expecting Kraft to potentially start this game. He isn't. He's on the bench. But it's a bit of a blow for Newcastle not to have Sven Botman available. He's injured at this moment in time. And the physicality of Newcastle taken away with Joelinton being injured as well. So hence Willock's in the lineup. So Bruno G captaining Newcastle today alongside him, Sando Tonali and Joe Willock. And up top you've got Murphy on the right, Gordon on the left and Alexander Isak starting as the goalkeeper, led by manager Eddie Howe. And on the bench they've got Nick Pope, Matt Targett, Emil Kraft, Valen Tino Livramento, Harvey Barnes, Lewis Miley, Sean Longstaff, Callum Wilson and William Osula. Out for Newcastle today, missing Jamal Lascelles, Jamal Lascelles, Sven Botman and Joelinton. I presume that Sven Botman hasn't passed a fitness test today, but Dan Burn has, and I'm quite surprised to see him start. His job today will be to hug tight to Erling Haaland, so Erling Haaland got a very physical battle there on his hands, and it's why I'm surprised that Newcastle's gone with 4 at the back, because you're automatically taking one defender out with Dan Burn's job dealing with Erling Haaland. So if I'm Foden and Savinho and Omar Marmoush, you want that to be a 3-on-3 going on with the inexperience of Lewis Hall and the aging legs of Trippier and Fabian Schar. So for me, the pace goes on that left-hand side, and I'm looking to try and get Savinho, Marmoush and Josko Gvardiol as far forward as possible. For Manchester City, so we're lining up today. Ederson gets the nod in goal. Rico Lewis, Khusanov, Stones, Gvardiol as our defence. Gonzalez and Gundogan as our 2 pivoting central defensive midfielders. Looks like it's going to be Omar Marmoush further ahead of them, with Phil Foden on the right, Savinho on the left and Erling Haaland starting up top. On the bench for Manchester City, which led by manager Pep Guardiola, we've got Stefan Ortega-Moreno. Also on the bench, you have got Vitor Reis, Nico O'Reilly, James McAtee, Mateo Kovacic, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Matheus Nunes and also Jeremy Doku. Jack Grealish out. He's going to be out for a couple more weeks and not available for this game. Oscar Bob as well also had a little bit of an injury setback, so not available for Manchester City. More long-term absentees with Rodri and Manuel Akanji. I noticed that there is no Ruben Dias. I've not had a chance yet to head onto social media to have a look at why there is no Ruben Dias, so I am just going to do that right now. So guys, if you are enjoying the content, please do leave a thumbs up. We're now just 15 likes away from 50, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the live chat. John, thanks for tuning in, helping to moderate today's chat, much appreciated. Also a big thank you to Nitin for tuning in, much appreciated. Albert, welcome, thanks for tuning in. Andrew as well. City Medic, thanks for tuning in. Emmy, thanks for tuning in. And I Love, thanks for tuning in as well, not catching me out. But a nice attempt. Yeah, big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Vikas, thanks for tuning in as well. Also, don't forget as well, social media links, you can find them in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to subscribe, and finally do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. And a big thank you to SofaScore for sponsoring today's video. Do go and check them out. Links and details there in the description. Remember, it is a free app to download. I did see somebody just leave in the chat, where am I watching on today? I'm having to use the streams today. Makes for, if anything, an entertaining stream for you guys to enjoy. So, yeah, we'll see. Where's everybody tuning in from, by the way? Do let me know in the chat. What's everybody's score prediction? I'm going to have to stick with what I said in the preview. I went 3-1 Manchester City. I'm going to stick with 3-1 Manchester City. Goodness knows why I'm sticking with 3-1 to Manchester City, but we will have to wait and see. Confirmed by the MEN, Nathan Ake, not fully fit for Manchester City today. Neither is Ruben Dias, not fully fit for Manchester City. So this is Man City just giving them a rest, and we'll see. We'll see if we do see them. I imagine we probably will see them against Real Madrid on Wednesday night. And if they're carrying knocks, so they're not fully fit. And if we do end up going out, which is a strong possibility, we will go out of the Champions League. on Wednesday against Real Madrid away from home, with us needing to win by 2 clear goals to go through in Madrid. It does mean that by the time we've got to the end of February, we're going to go from playing every 3 to 4 days to playing every week. So the schedule gets easier and the chance for rotation gets easier. So we will see. Nitin tuning in from India. Love that. Thank you for tuning in. Going 3-2 for Manchester City today. Dave says, living in the South. Crew. Is Crew classed as the South now? How far south do we go before what we deem with the South? That's always an interesting topic. But Dave, nice and positive, going 2-1 Manchester City. I'm also going with a City win, going 3-1 for Manchester City. Jean, thanks for tuning in. Predicting a draw, as always. So, guys, we're just 9 likes away from 50. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. We're not too far away now from kickoff, so it does mean that I just very quickly need to get a stream sorted for today's game. Abhijit, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Nadir, do I think City will make the top 4 or 5? Do you know what? I think a lot comes down to what happens on Wednesday. I think Man City go out and we can turn our focus solely on the Premier League with the odd FA Cup game here or there. I think that would, in terms of the squad freshness, do us a lot of good. Man City, for me, were at their very best at the beginning of the season when we were playing once a week. Because we might have an aging team, but we were able to rotate as much as possible because you're only playing once a week. So players are fully fit and everybody's, you know, fully focused. They've had enough recovery time. They've had enough reflection. They've had enough to be able to prepare themselves for each game. Whereas you play every 3 to 4 days, and your preparation's limited to 1 day. And yeah, yeah, there you go. That's my thought. I think Champions League, we go back to playing every 3 to 4 days through April. So. It could get very, very tiring very quickly. I don't think we've got the squad to be able to compete on all fronts. So if we do end up going out, that's the big bonus that I'm holding to, that by the time we've got to the end of February, we're playing once a week. And I'm sure that Manchester City will be able to pick teams based on the teams that we're playing, and we'll be able to do the focus on the fitness and do the rotation that is needed. Albert, it's nearly time now for your prediction to start. Knitting, it's always a market that I'm looking to grow in. A huge market available in India. Do you run your own channel? Abhijit, it looks like Nico's going to be playing in the holding midfield role. I'm wondering if we might see Rico Lewis going at left back and Khusanov goes in at right back. And maybe John Stones and Josko Gvardiol as our 2 centre backs. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it does go. Right, just trying to get my stream sorted. It's not a good start when it's first thing goes in. Is that it's all stuttery. So not the best of starts for the stream. We'll see. But it doesn't look like we're too far away now. Erling Haaland captaining Manchester City. That slipped by me, that. Erling Haaland, the captain. Right, we're just 4 likes away from 50, guys. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. It's a very greasy surface. There's been quite a bit of rain today in the United Kingdom. So it's going to be quite a wet surface that City are going to have to navigate and deal with. Newcastle look ready and prepared. Don't have a great track record at the Etihad, Newcastle. So maybe Man City could make it more about psychology, maybe. I'm hoping that we'll see Omar Marmoush grab his first Man City goal. It's doing the world of good to start getting some goals and assists sooner rather than later. I have no doubt that he will. He's a brilliant player. As we're ready and set for kickoff here at the Etihad. So you can use that if you're watching at home to see how far behind I am. As I said, I have to use the streams today, unfortunately, as the game's not been broadcast in the UK, so there's not much I can do about that. So I'd appreciate nobody spoiling it for me in the chat so I can give my legit reaction to what is happening. Manchester City are going to be getting us underway, attacking from left to right, playing in our home shirts of sky blue shirts, white shorts and navy blue socks. Newcastle playing in their away strips. I think it's like a red and blue or like a maroon and blue striped shirts with maroon shorts and white socks, as we do have kickoff here at the Etihad Stadium. Man City getting us underway, worked by Ederson. And Manchester City are just going to look to try and pivot this around. The screen's way too far away for my bad eyesight, so I'm just going to bring it closer to me. We're on a zero sugar Coca-Cola today as today's choice of drink. The Tiger, thanks for tuning in. Here's Manchester City then, getting their first attack. Foden looking to try and unleash a shot. Manchester City just work it back to the right-hand side. So City taking the game to Newcastle, which is good to see. Mordecai tuning in from Zambia. Love that. Going for 3-1. Same as me. I'm going 3-1 Manchester City as well. So we're only 3 likes now away from 50. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe and do check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. In the poll today, 78% of you guys thinking that Manchester City are going to win this game. So thank you to everybody that did participate in the poll. The Tiger going 3-1 as well, same as me. Lots of 3-1s in there. I can see Newcastle scoring. It's notoriously quite close, narrow games, like 1-0s and things. But, yeah, I can see some goals as Ederson just fires a pass in there to... was it Ilkay Gundogan? He does really well to get that under control, and Manchester City can come through. I apologise for getting any of the players' names wrong. I'm having to watch on I'm used to watching on a 43-inch screen. I'm having to watch this on what, like 7-8 inches. My bad eyesight's terrible. So who knows which players got the ball? Who knows? I like these 3 o'clock games. They're always entertaining. Always. All things football reckons 2-1 Manchester City. Doesn't see us handling their midfield cleanly. I agree. I agree with that. Adair says he doesn't want to see bozo moments, stupid moments from Manchester City. Yeah, ironing out them silly, stupid mistakes. They do. That's what they need to focus on. Iron out the mistakes, and Man City's ability to be able to win games 1-0, 2-0 and 2-1s returns, and turning draws into wins and losses into draws is your ability to be able to win the big trophies. It's what's escaped Manchester City large parts of the season. They've not managed games very well, as that's a ball launched by Ederson, looking for Erling Haaland. Only finds goalkeeper Dubravka in goal for Newcastle today. 3 minutes in at the Etihad, 0-0. So Dubravka just rolls it out to the right-hand side. It's going to be launched this by Fabian Schar down the flank. Looking for Alexander Isak. Cut off well by John Stones for Manchester City. And City are just going to have a bit of possession here. Under pressure. Really good work that by Abdukodir Khusanov. He gets a little flicked pass on from Phil Foden. Given away, though. Newcastle get the ball. Khusanov, aggressive there. Deemed to have shoved Anthony Gordon in the back, and down he goes, and that will be a free kick for Newcastle. I said before about Khusanov, he's a very aggressive defender. He'll try and stick to you like glue because he's got pace so he can keep up with you, but it'll be very physical, so it doesn't cause me too much concern if Khusanov's conceding free kicks and fouls, as long as Manchester City's defensive capabilities from these set pieces are there. If balls are coming into our box, you're winning them headers. You're switched on for smart set pieces that teams have been working on in the training ground. Your focus has got to be there from minute 1 right through to the final whistle in the 90th minute. Ball just gets chipped in by Newcastle. Trippier can't get it under control, so that will be a goal kick for Manchester City. All things, he is showing his physicality there, Khusanov. He's a good defender. He had a bad debut And he did have a bad debut. I don't think we're going to sit here and dispute that, as Haaland could be in, and a sliding challenge comes in, and that'll be a first corner of the game for Manchester City. Yeah, I don't think we're going to dispute that he had a bad debut. You know, in the first 3 minutes, the error which led to a Chelsea goal and also picking up a yellow card inside the first 3 minutes is never what we're looking for. But he put in a couple of good blocks, defended pretty well. You know, to me, he didn't put a foot wrong last week in the game against Leyton Orient. And he's looked pretty sharp in the first 5 minutes here. So, corner comes in from City. It doesn't beat the first man. Newcastle get it clear, only as far as Rico Lewis. Julia, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Says, come on, City. No stress. No stress and Manchester City. They don't go together in the same sentence. The creator, thanks for tuning in. Going 2-1 for Manchester City today. Use a little City emoji. I like it. I like it a lot. Brentford have got the first goal in the Premier League today. They're 1-0 up away against West Ham. City then just work it to the left-hand side here. Here is Josko Gvardiol for Manchester City. At the moment, Newcastle just having to sit a bit deeper than maybe what they like. City just work the ball all the way back to Ederson. He plays a nice pass to Phil Foden in midfield for City, and just like that, one dissected pass from Ederson, and Manchester City can turn defence into attack. And that was a good pass there from Ederson, who I'm sure will be looking for a really nice, positive start to the game in terms of his distribution after him making maybe a couple of errors that could be suggested against Real Madrid towards the latter parts of the game, as Real Madrid found an equaliser and a winner. Arsenal won earlier today. No surprise there, away from home against Leicester City. Manchester City did pick up a win from the legal team. Lord Panic leading the way, picking up a win for City over the Premier League yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and speak all about the legal jargon because I have no idea what it all means, but Manchester City are looking for some radical changes in the Premier League when it comes to their rules and regulations, and Manchester City managed to pick up a victory yesterday where I think it was deemed unlawful from the Premier League, and they're going to have to rewrite their rules and regulations pretty much that had already been agreed. Man City really don't like the rules and regulations from the Premier League, so that's pretty much my understanding as far as it goes from a dumb point of view. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal sport expert, so I can't comment about anything else. I'm not aware that it has any implications on the 115 charges and things, but it's always nice to see City's legal team doing a very, very good job, which reassures me when it does come to them 115 charges that Manchester City can clear their name, that they can continue to push the issue and can continue to look for damages. You know, if you're going to claim your innocence and you get found innocent, then you don't just want to leave it there and say, we're happy to be innocent, you know. Our name's been dragged through the mud. That's not good enough. John, yeah, it does set the precedent for the other clubs to not be so scared of the Premier League. It's just there's a lot of clubs out there who are very happy with the status quo. They're happy to be earning a lot of money. And the big teams at the top are happy to be earning the most money, whereas some of the other teams are just happy with the status quo to get the big Premier League money and don't want to do anything about it. Just happy with remaining a Premier League team, whereas obviously Man City and a few of the others aren't just happy with going with the status quo. They want to change things up. They want to be the biggest and best team, which is what makes a league so competitive. Chloe, thanks for tuning in. Brentford are 1-0 up. Away at West Ham, the only goal in the Premier League so far that I'm aware of. We're 9 minutes in here at the Etihad, yet to have anything to report on. Nadir says he'd like to see Marmoush be more central. I always felt like Marmoush is at his best playing behind the striker, and I'm amazed that City aren't doing that, to be honest. I'd like to see it because, for me, Erling Haaland is going to drag defenders away. He's going to give you space. So to have another brilliant attacker, a striker, right behind him means you've not only got your Julian Alvarez replacement, but you've got someone who's pretty versatile, who's happy to drift left or right to look for space and make things happen and have shots and put crosses into the box. I think City are just trying to accommodate Phil Foden into the team and feel like Phil Foden's at his best playing behind the striker. So Marmoush will be given more freedom, but it's going to come out wide, which Marmoush will have known that before he joined City. You don't just walk into your position at City. You've got to be versatile. You've got to work hard, and you've got to adapt your game. If Pep Guardiola likes you and wants you in your team, but he wants you to play left wing, then you've got to play left wing, and you've got to up your game to be the very best left winger that you can be to remain in the team. Because if you don't, you end up like Jack Grealish. So shows glimpses of being very good, but doesn't get into the team because Man City have so much competition elsewhere. Here's Ederson, under pressure, does well to find a clearance. It is going to go straight out to play for a throw into Newcastle, just inside the Newcastle half. I think under pressure there, Ederson was just happy to get that ball as far away from his goal as possible. So guys, don't forget, leave a thumbs up on the live stream. We're now just 43 likes away from 100, so any help towards that would be great. Do subscribe if you're new around here, and do go check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Newcastle once more, just working the ball out from the back, work to the right. Fabian Schar just sends it down the line. This time does find Alexander Isak, but given away. Manchester City can come away with the ball there. Here's Savinho then. What support has he got? He gets a shove in the back. He's in the penalty area here. And good defending in the end from Newcastle. I think it was Lewis Hall, but my screen's only small. My eyesight's bad, so I can't confirm that it was Lewis Hall that did that good bit of defending. Whoever it was a good bit of defending. And it was Lewis Hall. Respect JSGC's eyes. The screen's so small. I'm used to so big so I can see things. And 3 o'clock kickoffs. Got to love him. Got to love him. So I imagine that all you guys are ahead of me. As I said before, I'd appreciate nobody spoiling it for me until I can give my reaction, whether it be a key moment, a Man City goal, a Newcastle goal, sending offs, or any bits of drama in the game. I'm currently at 12:10 right now as I speak. Ball gets played forward by City, looking for Omar Marmoush. He's going to put Dubravka under pressure, and Dubravka fending it out for a throw-in, doing a bit of defending there, Dubravka. Marmoush ends up winning that ball. City and Leeds channel says, got all the notifications off. The only notifications I've got on's coming from Fantasy Premier League, which normally about a minute behind real time anyway, so I don't think they're going to spoil anything for me, but we'll see. We will see. Plenty of goals up in Scotland at the moment. I've got Soccer Saturday on in front of me as well, so I can be aware of everything else happening in the other Premier League games. Here is Erling Haaland into the penalty area, dispossessed by Newcastle, and they're going to come away with the ball. Seamus, thoughts on Marmoush? A good player. I don't think he's very best out wide. I think City are just trying to move him into anywhere in the team that they can fit him in. I prefer him to play behind the striker. I think that might be something City look at maybe post Kevin De Bruyne. Phil Foden and Marmoush become their main players that play behind the striker, and City are going to focus more when it comes to midfielders towards actual central midfielders, ball controlling midfielders, those who can turn defence into attack. And if they maybe do look for a bit more creativity, I imagine a lot does depend on what happens really with Jack Grealish. Are we happy to stick with Savinho, Grealish, Doku, and the options of Foden and Marmoush and Bernardo Silva out wide? Rotate them, how do you work it? We'll see. City and Leeds channel. I'd like to see Doku get some. He's on the bench, so he's clearly fit enough to do some minutes. If things aren't working for City, I'd like to see that Pep isn't scared to make changes. You know, Jeremy Doku having a run at 34-year-old Kieran Trippier's old legs. I like that a lot. Bournemouth got the second goal of the Premier League today. Utara's grabbed the goal for them. 1-0 up away against Southampton. South Coast derby there. As we're near enough through 15 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. Still nothing really to report on. Nothing much has happened. But Manchester City 0, Newcastle 0. Chloe says, Fulham 1-0 up. You see, Chloe's ahead of me. Not come up on mine yet. Prince, thanks for tuning in. Depends where you're watching from, my friend. As Fulham are now 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest at home. A difficult game, that, for Forest. Chelsea lost yesterday against Brighton, so this is a good opportunity for Man City to win, go fourth, and get pressure onto Forest in third, especially if they drop points today in a tricky away game against Fulham. That's mentally where I'm at and what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about Real Madrid, I'm not thinking about the Champions League, I'm thinking about solidifying our position to make sure that we finish as high as possible in the Premier League and make sure that we've got Champions League football for next season. We know we're transitioning. Marmoush has the first shot of the game and it's over the top of the crossbar. Has an attempt. I like him having an attempt. It's better than just putting a ball across the box and it getting cleared. Have a shot, see if you can make something happen. Get him on target, test the keeper. That would be a bonus. He's not scared to have a shot, Omar Marmoush. Still looking for his first City goal. Just gets a bit, his foot underneath that and into the stands. All things football. Florian Wirtz is very much a like-for-like for Kevin De Bruyne. I don't see him leaving Bayer Leverkusen. I don't think he wants to leave. And with Jamal Musiala committing himself to Bayern Munich, I don't see him going to Bayern Munich. I don't see that being the option. I think, for me, a lot depends on what's going to happen with manager Xabi Alonso. Clearly, Florian Wirtz flourishing and enjoys working with Xabi Alonso. As City do well to win the ball back. Pass comes forward into the channel of Haaland, but cut off by the goalkeeper. As Bournemouth are now 2-0 up against Southampton. Leyton Orient, who City played last weekend, 1-0 up against Lincoln at home. So Ryan Christie with the goal for Bournemouth. Bournemouth are flying. We've got to be careful of them. As Newcastle could be in here. Here's Alexander Isak under pressure. That's a brilliant challenge from Josko Gvardiol. Brilliant challenge. Good defending from Manchester City there. It's quite difficult when you're looking to try and get forward that as soon as Newcastle spring a counter-attack onto you, you've got to be fully aware there. But that was good defending from Josko Gvardiol and good defending from Manchester City. That's nearly a kamikaze back pass there from Man City, but Nico Gonzalez does really well just to fend off the press and find the pass for City. Work down the line. Header won by Newcastle. Second ball won by Rico Lewis, so Manchester City can have possession here. Savinho needs some support. Has he got the throw in? He's got the throw in. Good work that for Manchester City. Here's Manchester City then, just coming forward. All things football. I'll come to that in a moment about Xavi Simons. That's a great ball from Ederson and Marmoush could be in. Omar Marmoush with the goal for Manchester City is first. For Manchester City, it's the Egyptian Pharaoh with a lovely lob over Dubravka. Another assist for Ederson. And Manchester City first to draw blood here at the Etihad Stadium with a lovely finish from Omar Marmoush getting his account underway. 1-0 Manchester City. Come on. Perfectly onside. It's a cracking ball from Ederson. Omar Marmoush makes no mistake. He's not thinking about the simple pass to Erling Haaland for the tap-in, because Erling Haaland's right beside him ready for the tap-in. He's like, I want my goal. And it's a lovely, well-taken goal from the Egyptian Pharaoh. And it's 1-0 Manchester City. Omar Marmoush with the goal. Come on. Lovely stuff. So good, really good finish that from Omar Marmoush. That'll make you feel much better, I'm sure. The first one's always the most difficult. Always the most difficult. There's that Kevin De Bruyne replacement, Ederson. Like prime Pirlo. Whew. It's a good goal that for City. They need to keep pushing and keep going though. It's been a game of few opportunities. Got to keep going. One 0 to the empty seats, the Etihad crowd. Chanting. I can't work out if that's Newcastle or City fans that are chanting that, whether it's ironic chanting from City or Newcastle trying to get a bite. Peter, it was a lovely goal from Omar Marmoush. Well taken. Nice little dip. I do hope you are well. Operation. Yeah, that's why we need a second. You've got to keep going. Kill a 2-goal cushion. You've got to keep going. That's the best way of defending a game. You keep going. You don't stop. Eventually, you get yourself into a position where right towards the end of the game, you've got to be able to manage the game. You've got to buy them free kicks. You've got to be able just to frustrate your opponents and defend deep and defend well. Oh, that's a lovely touch from Haaland, and he's unlucky. He's unlucky there. Surrounded out in the end, and Newcastle can come away with the ball. Peter, good to hear, and yeah, very well, thank you. Newcastle here, struggling to get out. Although, here's Anthony Gordon. Oh, lovely interception. Is that Nico with the interception? Or was it John Stones? Who knows? Small screen. A good clearance there from Khusanov. And City get themselves a cheap throw in. It's good stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. The first 22 minutes has been sharp. It's been fresh. It's been good. It's no wonder. 25 years. That's the average age of today's squad. 25.0 years. There's legs there for City. If there was a younger midfielder, a Nico O'Reilly or a James McAtee to come in ahead of Ilkay Gundogan, the average age of this team is probably looking at 23, 24 years old. The freshness is there. That was a lovely ball from Ederson. And it's a beautiful chip. Don't underestimate that finish from Omar Marmoush. Do not underestimate that finish. It's a cracking goal. Really good goal. Is it Gundogan? That's a good ball. Have a shot. Oh, in it goes. It's Omar Marmoush on a hat-trick. He has to wait for one, but two come around. London buses, guys. London buses. Beautiful finish from Omar Marmoush. I said I felt good. I said it. I said I feel good. There's just... I had the same feeling against the Chelsea, where City just... They're turning up. They're showing what they need. They're doing what they need. They're showing what they need. They're letting their talking be done on the pitch. And it's a lovely finish from Omar Marmoush. I think it takes a deflection. Let's have another look. Does it take a little knock? Who cares? It's Omar Marmoush's goal. And again, going back to what I was just saying when he skied the ball into the stands for Omar Marmoush, that is what you do. That is what you do. You have shots. You get them on target. You ask the question. VAR clears their check. No offsides or anything in the build-up. And Manchester City 2-0 up. But they've got to keep going. You do not settle. You do not sit on this. You keep going. Got to keep going. Keep going for a third. Abhijit, it's a common saying here in the UK, London buses. Buses are notorious, not just in London, but pretty much across the whole country, of being very late. And sometimes you wait ages for one to turn up, and then all of a sudden, two come at once. And that's what we've seen from Omar Marmoush. He's had to be patient for his first goal, and then two come along within minutes of each other. Got to keep going. Chloe says Celtic 1-0 up. Who's Celtic playing today? Dundee United. Oh, my friend's a Dundee United fan. He won't be very happy with that. Long ball gets played forward. Haaland! Oh, good goalkeeping. Really good goalkeeping. Good stuff. Anyway, guys, we're 40 likes away from 100. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe if you are new around here. And also don't forget to go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Links and details there in the description. So, Newcastle on the attack. They've got no choice but to attack. Ball gets threaded through, dealt with in the end, with a half clearance from Ilkay Gundogan. Got to be careful. 2-0 are always very dangerous score lines. Next goal, crucial. Newcastle score next. Tails are up. Only one goal in it. They're pushing and going. Manchester City score the next one. As long as we don't do a Feyenoord, 3 might just kill this game. But Newcastle are a good team. They're capable of scoring 3. So even if we get the next goal and it goes 3-0, you've got to keep going. Long ball comes forward. Got to game management now from Manchester City. You've got to manage it. City will just want to keep going. Don't see why they wouldn't. Ederson's pinging balls left and right. He's prime Pirlo today, Ederson. Good grief. His long ball distribution, perfect. 27 minutes in then, City 2-0 up. And Newcastle got it all to do. Rain, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Here's Newcastle in the City penalty area now. Ball gets floated across and Rico Lewis there defending. Rico Lewis is there defending. Winning the header. It was a good bit of defending from Rico Lewis. And here's Manchester City now coming forward through Ilkay Gundogan. There's the combo. Here's Savinho now. Plays a pass. Foden back to Savinho. Oh, keeper spills it. Oh. Slick football from Manchester City. Desperately unlucky. So close to a third. Beautiful pass. Do you know, I'm not going to criticise Savinho. He's doing what I was telling Omar Marmoush to do before and encouraging the City players to do. Have a shot. When you're in the position to have a shot, have the shot. It does take a deflection, that second goal from Marmoush. Comes off the back heel. City are back in here again! Oh! I thought that was in. Sliding challenge comes in from Dan Burn, and it can go anywhere. It could go literally anywhere. It's a brilliant, brilliant bit of defending in the end. He does really well not to turn that into his own goal. City ready for the tap-in instead. Just a corner. If we can improve our set pieces, that could become a useful outlet for us. Leyton Orient gave us a brilliant game last week. 2-0 up this week against Lincoln at home. Corner for City. Gets whipped in. And Dubravka's there to collect for Newcastle. That's a good ball through, but Ederson deals with that. And City again look to try and just build up from the back. City are going to get pressed into a mistake here. Oh, there's a chance here for Newcastle. I think it's Isak. Oh my word. Oh, I thought that were going in. I don't know how that's not gone in. I think it takes a deflection past the post and out for a corner for Newcastle. This goes across the face of goal there. This is not far away. In the end, it's a bit further out than what the camera angle suggests, but a useful deflection, a good bit of defending, and they deal with the mistake there, Manchester City. But these are these silly moments that we were speaking about where you just, that lapse in concentration goes and you can give away easy goals. That was nearly an easy goal. Corner comes in, Ederson gets a fist onto it and gets it clear. And all them goals that Real Madrid scored the other night, they're all come from City errors. It's very frustrating. You want teams to work for their goals. I don't mind sitting here and saying that was a wonderful goal from said player. What I don't like doing is a team scored because Man City have shot themselves in the foot. Seamus, yeah, I don't see Newcastle staying scoreless. The problem I have with Newcastle, it's not a problem. It's a problem for us, but not a problem for them, is they're a team that are capable of scoring 2 or 3. City get that one clear. Newcastle now just cranking it up. And this is where City now need to be defensively switched on. It's an important phase of the game, this. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Newcastle will be thinking to themselves, try and grab a goal. 1 goal deficit at half-time. That's doable for them. Real Madrid 1-0 up against Osasuna. Chloe informs me. Thank you, Chloe, for keeping me up to date. Much appreciated. Here's Newcastle again. Edge of the penalty area. Ball comes in. Headed clear by City. They want a free kick. They get a free kick. And then going back to what I was saying before, learning the lessons from the Real Madrid game. Get your free kicks. Slow the game down. Slow it down. That's what you want to do. Oh, here's City now breaking forward. Philip Walter Foden with the ball. Works it to the right. Here's Savinho. Takes his man on to square it across. Marmoush! It's a hat-trick for Marmoush! 3 goals in, 33 minutes? Unbelievable from Omar Marmoush and unbelievable from Manchester City. Incredible stuff. Where's this been for the season? Where has it been? It's amazing what some fresh legs do. You bring Nico in, you bring Omar in, and it clicks. It works. They've dismantled Newcastle here in the first 3 minutes. 33 minutes. Newcastle haven't got an answer. Keep going. Got to keep going. It's a wonderful finish from Marmoush. It's a great assist for Savinho. It's so easy. Bruno G's not picking his man up. Pep Guardiola, look at that serious face from Pep. He means business. Omar Marmoush, he likes that. He's got a hat-trick. He'll be thinking about more. And this is what Marmoush has about him. This is what he has about him. Now, I don't want to get too carried away. I want City to manage this game. But these fresh legs, the youthful look about City. Khusanov's here, 20 years old. Nico's here, 23. Marmoush, 26. Fresh legs. Players who've got a point to prove. Got years ahead of them. Gives City a more youthful look. Plenty of legs. With a desire. And it works. I think City are going to be looking for another. They will want another goal. They won't want to do what they did against Feyenoord. And City again in a great position. City are going to keep going here. I'm thinking now 11 minutes. Newcastle need a goal. I just think City need another, and I think that's probably the game. At the moment, 3-0. It's very difficult for Newcastle, but they're not fully out of it. I feel like we need a fourth. What a performance this has been, first 35 minutes, guys. Anyway, guys, don't forget, leave a thumbs up. 36 likes from 100. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe and do go and check out today's video sponsor, SofaScore. Links and details there in the description. Here is Savinho. Oh, apologies, guys. Sorry, I'm too busy speaking about speeches and about Manchester City. I've not changed the scoreline. Thanks for informing me. We'll get that changed up. Amateur! Sack JSGC. JSGC out. Bring somebody else in. Consider it changed. Consider the title changed as well. Right, corner then for City. Third corner for City. Can they do something from this corner? Stones is there. Haaland's there. Abdukodir Khusanov's in there. Marmoush with the corner. Gets flicked on. Looped over. And that'll be a goal kick. John, that's funny. I forgot about that. That was a brilliant stream. Ooh. We're calm. We're calm. Birmingham City 1-0 up against Charlton. They're flying Birmingham, although they've spent the cash. Spent the cash to get from League One back into the Championship. Looking good for it. The momentum train of Stockport and Wrexham continuing in League One. Very interesting league. Nottingham Forest have found an equaliser against Fulham. It's a heavy touch there from Savinho. That goes out of play. Who's grabbed the goal? Chris Wood. Good news for my Fantasy Premier League. Chris Wood grabbing the goal for Nottingham Forest. Having a very good season for Forest, isn't he, Chris Wood? Right, I think it's important now for City that manage the game. I want us to keep going and grab a fourth. I also think it's important that we try and get in at half-time with our clean sheet intact. More defending here for City to do. Ball comes across and John Stones is there, and that will go out for a corner for Newcastle. City and Leeds fan channel doing a thing. That's an interesting save, that. Birmingham City. Interesting save. All things, yeah, he's definitely doing his part. So more defending for City to do here from this corner. It's played short. Ball eventually comes in from Kieran Trippier. He sends it very deep, and Ederson's come and missed it, and Bruno G heads it over. Oh, Ederson's in no man's land there. City are lucky there. Bruno G does well to win the header. He's blinded by Josko Gvardiol, so he's got no clean sight on goal, but Ederson's in no man's land there. Bruno G hits the money with that header, and that's 3-1. Ederson then with a goal kick. He's probably thinking about launching it and sending it long. In the end, Omar Marmoush is having a wonderful game. Works it to Savinho. That combination caused Newcastle so many problems. Savinho's had a brilliant game. Marmoush, it's been perfect. 3 goals for him. 3 goals for him, 3 goals for Manchester City. 3-0 City lead here at the Etihad Stadium in the famous Manchester rain. Very gloomy and grey today. Ball gets played forward for Savinho. He's going to get there ahead of Lewis Hall. Here's Rico Lewis. And he's going to get a corner for Manchester City. You see, there's not many problems to your goal when you're in control of the football and in control of the game and you've got the ball by the Newcastle penalty area. All you've got to be wary of them counter-attacks. It's been an unbelievable effort from City so far as we enter into the 41st minute. Savinho just feeling a bit of pain there. He'll just try and get it up to half-time and see how he feels as Foden sends the corner in. Haaland wins the header, but they're very physical, Newcastle, so you're going to struggle to get clean connections for your set pieces. You've got to match their physicality, and it's very difficult to do. Arsenal, believe it or not, are quite a physical team. They struggled in the Carabao Cup semi-final over both legs against Newcastle. Newcastle are more than happy for it to be a physical game. It's just Man City have been presented with the opportunities. They've been A, clinical, B, creative, and C, done a load of running. It's not so much Newcastle have done much wrong, it's just Man City have done everything very well, for me. Watford 1-0 up against Middlesbrough. I was waiting for Dave, there he is. Tuanzebe sent off for Ipswich. Struggling to get going there, Ipswich. And Julia, it's Man City. Anything can happen. It could be a crumble of all crumbles. You know, we've not been 3-0 up and lost yet. So, caution. We don't get carried away. Normally, I'd sit here and say 3-0, job done, 3 points. Start thinking about Real Madrid. That's normally how I'd be thinking. But I'm not. I still have PTSD from Feyenoord. PTSD. I was in a hotel in Egypt. 75th minute. I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat. I'm delighted. I'm enjoying myself. I'm on holiday city, 3-0 up. We've had a barren streak. We're getting back to winning ways. I'm loving life. Things are good. And then 15 minutes, the Man City crumble, it hits. And it's giving me PTSD for this season, the 2024-2025 season. Someone said it's cursed. I'm calling it the PTSD season. I don't want to think about it. But if we're 3-0 up in a game, I'm sitting here and, it could be the 80th minute. Not enough. PTSD. Brentford 2-0 up against West Ham. It's a cracking result, that, for Brentford. Good team. Bit inconsistent, but when they get going, they're a very good team. Thought West Ham would have put up a better fight. They've got to a good start under new management with Graham Potter. Bad first 41 minutes there for them, though. Set piece here for City. Headed clear from Newcastle. And they're going to look to try and get forward. They've got 2 forward here. Oh, that's a good pass. Here's Willock. Oh, my stream stopped working. I don't know what's happening. Right, guys, I'm going to have to refresh. See what's happening. Give me... Oh, I think we might be back in biz. I think we're back in biz. Turn my on. Yeah, we're back in business. Cool. Good stuff. Stream managed to sort itself out. I think there was a VAR check in the Brentford goal. I don't know if anything's been overturned, but there we go. It has been overturned, yeah, so 1-0 Brentford rather than 2. Yeah, Khusanov, he's looked solid, he's looked good. City wouldn't have spent £30 million on him if he wasn't good, so I want to see. There's a lot of youthfulness out there from City. They've also got the new signings playing, but there's a lot of youth in there, and I want to see more of it. There's a lot of fresh legs. There's a lot of running involved. should be headed clear this by City and does stop the corner. So we're into the 45th minute. We'll see how long is going to be added on. So we are just 30 likes away from 100. Any help towards that would be much appreciated, guys. Let's see by half-time. We get to less than 20. That'd be brilliant. Get to 80 likes by half-time. That'd be sensational. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. We're winning 3-0. What's not to like? Don't forget as well to go and check out today's video sponsor, SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. And also don't forget as well to subscribe if you are new around here. As we're now 29 likes away. I'd like to see Vitor Reis make his Premier League debut. It'd be good to see him get some minutes as well. I think if City can get a fourth at some point in the second half, as we're into the first of just 1 minute added on, I think if we can get another goal, I'd start to make some changes and start to think about Real Madrid. In particular, the important players that are going to be used, Haaland and Phil Foden, Josko Gvardiol, even John Stones. I wouldn't be surprised to see John Stones be taken off at half-time. I really wouldn't. Nico Gonzalez as well. Man City they've looked good in midfield. It's been all round just a good performance from City. That does take us into half-time here. City leading by leading by 3-0 and looking good so far, which is fantastic to see. So hopefully we can make that continue going into the second half and we can see it out and get the 3 points. I seem to have frozen. There we go. I think we're back in business. I do apologise. Can you all hear me? Just to clarify, can all you guys hear me before I carry on with the rest of the stream? Perfect, Rain can hear me, thank you. Much appreciated. If the camera freezes, I'm not aware that it affects the audio, but I don't want if the camera freezes for you guys to obviously not be able to hear me, because I don't know that you guys can't hear me, whereas if I just... But if I knock it again, you will be able to hear me. One thing I like about this microphone. Until you mute me. Thanks. That's made me chuckle. Right. Anyway, we are going to speak about the match. We'll speak about the statistics. Have a look how it's looking for Manchester City. So, today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. They're going to... keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores along with the latest match information and also all the statistics as well. So please do go and check them out. It is a free app to download, very highly rated, and I'll roll my promo video for that and then I will go through the statistics at halftime. So all looking pretty good for Manchester City here at half-time. What I find really interesting here is the expected goal rate, which shows just how clinical Man City have been. 60% possession for City compared with 40% for Newcastle. City have created a couple of big opportunities. 6 shots that they've managed to have in this game so far. 4 on target, 3 goals, a hat-trick for Omar Marmoush. But the expected goal rate for City is at less than 1. We scored 3, but the expected goal rate at less than 1 at 0.78. So, Manchester City, very clinical here in the first half. Omar Marmoush clearly helping with that. There is a reason why City has spent, 60+ million pounds to bring him into the club. It's exactly why he's here. But Newcastle, no big opportunities. A couple of shots. I think they had 2 shots, none on target. Ederson's had very little to do. And the expected goal rate for Newcastle at just 0.07, suggesting that there isn't much of a threat to City's goal. They're getting overran for me in midfield. City had more than 100 passes. Sorry, just less than 100 passes than Newcastle. City at 284 compared with 185 for Newcastle. And Newcastle having 10% less possession than Manchester City have had. 20% possession, which is 10% either way. So the midfield for me for Newcastle, Tonali, Guimaraes, Willock, there's runners, there's physicality in there. I don't think Newcastle are as good without Joelinton being there, because Joelinton's their main physical central midfielder who would cause City a lot of problems. I think Pep spoke about it in the past about what Joelinton brings to Newcastle, but they've not really found, other than a couple of springed passes forward to get Alexander Isak involved in the game. I've seen very little of Murphy. I've seen very little of Gordon. They found no way of getting Trippier and Hall forward. And again, Man City have just targeted this Newcastle tiring back line. How fit is Dan Burn passing a fitness test? Is he going to make it out for the second half? He's 32 years old and struggled. Spent so much time trying to keep Haaland quiet that City have found ways to get Marmoush, Savinho in particular, involved in this game. But also Phil Foden as well. Kieran Trippier, 34 years old. And if I'm Pep Guardiola, I'm thinking heading into the second half, John Stones doesn't normally do 3 games in a week. He's done City are 3-0 up here and it's looking pretty good. I think they'll want the assurance of a fourth before they start thinking about making changes, because all you've got to come on at the back is Nico O'Reilly, who can cover at fullback, and Vitor Reis can play at centre-back. So we're pretty much down to the bare bones at the back still. So do you bring Vitor Reis on? I think if I'm City, I want to try and wrap this up. And I don't think I want to make changes unless I need to make changes. I certainly wouldn't be making them changes at half-time unless we were 4-0 up. I think if we can get a fourth, I would make them changes. And if we're 3-0 up and it gets to, I'd say around 65, 70 minutes, I make them changes and start thinking about Madrid. I want us to manage the game. So for me, you make the changes, maybe you make them 75, 80 minutes in the hope that we don't have a collapse like we had against Feyenoord, and you keep yourselves pretty much switched on. Matheus Nunes can play at fullback if maybe you want to bring him on for Rico Lewis, and you're going to maybe see Khusanov head in as City's main centre-back ahead of John Stones. But whilst it's working, I don't think I make any changes, because this game isn't wrapped up. We could concede 3 goals in the second half, so I don't make the changes yet, unless we get a fourth. Then I make the changes. And I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking, if we get to the Real Madrid game, who's most likely to come off? Haaland, Foden, Stones, Gvardiol, maybe Nico. There's plenty of midfield options there for Manchester City. But as the chat are saying, I don't think we can think about them changes just yet until we get a fourth goal. You don't want to make changes at half-time unless you really need to, or a player is just only fit to do 45 minutes and then you make the changes. I don't make changes for me until much later into the second half, or we grab a fourth goal, depending on which comes first for me. But at the moment, looking good for City, so for me, long may it continue. Right, we're going to use SofaScore and we're going to go around the grounds. Before we do go around the grounds, don't forget, please do leave a thumbs up. Just 3 likes away from 80, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to subscribe if you are new around here. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Do leave your thoughts in the live chat, including what your halftime thoughts are. Bing, thanks for tuning in. Mario, thanks for tuning in. Ramuso, thanks for tuning in. Adonis, thanks for tuning in. Starboy, thanks for tuning in. Neil, thanks for tuning in. Andy and Alison as well, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Do hope you are all well. If I've missed anybody, I do apologise. But yeah, do get your halftime thoughts in the chat. That would be much appreciated. Sean as well, thank you for tuning in. Mario tuning in from Jamaica. Love that. I'm sure the weather in Jamaica is much nicer than it is here in the UK. A very gloomy and grey United Kingdom as of right now, but not gloomy and grey at half-time for Manchester City. 3-0 up. So just before I do go through the half-time scores from around the grounds, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Right, I'm going to do this at rapid speed, guys, because I do have some halftime entertainment by my partner channel Mixed for you guys to enjoy. So, Premier League, full-time score, Leicester City 0, Arsenal 2, halftime scores, Aston Villa 0, Ipswich 0, Fulham 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Man City 3, Newcastle 0, Southampton 0, Bournemouth 2, West Ham 0, Brentford 1, and in the evening kick-off at 5:30pm GMT, you've got Crystal Palace taking on Everton. In the Championship, Cardiff City 1, Bristol City 1, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 2, and Preston North End 0, Burnley 0, all full-time scores. Half-time scores, Blackburn Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, Hull City 1, Norwich City 0, Luton Town 0, Sheffield United 0, Middlesbrough 0, Watford 1, Millwall 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry City 1, and Stoke City 0. Swansea City 0. In League 1, Cambridge United 0, Exeter City 1, and Northampton 0, Wrexham 2, all full-time scores. Half-time scores, Barnsley 1, Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 1, Charlton 0, Blackpool 1, Mansfield 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Burton 0, Crawley 1, Wickham 1, Leyton Orient 2, Lincoln City 1, Reading 1, Rotherham 0, Shrewsbury 1, Bolton 0, Stevenage 0, Peterborough 0, Wigan 0, Stockport County 0. In League 2, AFC Wimbledon 1, Salford City 0, Doncaster Rovers 1, Grimsby Town 2, both full-time scores. Half-time scores, Bromley 0, Fleetwood Town 0, Carlisle United 0, Colchester United 0, Cheltenham 0, Barrow 1, Gillingham 0, Crewe Alexandra 0, Harrogate Town 0, Swindon Town 0, Morecambe 0, Accrington Stanley 0, Newport County 0, Bradford City 0. Lots of goals here, isn't there, in League 2? Wow. Tranmere Rovers 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1, and Walsall 0, Chesterfield 1. And I'm just going to cover the Scottish Premier League. Celtic 2, Dundee United 0, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0, Ross County 1 are all your half-time scores. So that is you guys up to date here for this game. So I'll see you ready and waiting for the second half of this game as we do smash 80 likes. Now just 18 away from 100. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. So, halftime entertainment brought to you by my partner channel Mixed. Do go and check him out. Links and details there in the description. This is the Kamikaze Cocktail. Enjoy.
What's going on, guys? Mixed here, back again for another cocktail video, and today's cocktail is a kamikaze, because it's a popular one back in the day, from the mid-1950s, it might be a little bit before. Along with the kamikaze cocktail, I will be doing the famous kamikaze shots as well, so I will show you how to do that. Because it's made popular in the 1970s and 80s, and it's never really looked back, as it was created on the American naval base just after World War II in Japan. So let's make this famous drink. So first of all, what we're going to make is the kamikaze cocktail. So get your shaker, put some ice, which we've done, 45 ice cubes. And the first ingredient to go in, guys, is 45ml or 1.5 ounce of Grey Goose vodka. For a drink as famous as the kamikaze, it deserves a good vodka, especially since the vodka heydays in the 70s and 80s. Right, next up, 1 ounce of triple sec. As you can see, we're using Cointreau. And last but not least, 30ml or 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. Right, so put your lid on, now give it a good shake, 8 to 10 seconds, get it nice and chilling. Now straight into your martini glass. And the final thing you want to do now is garnish it with a lime wedge. And there we go, guys, one kamikaze cocktail. How does it taste? Ah, it tastes absolutely fantastic. But now I can't wait to try it as a shot. Right, now to make the kamikaze shot or shooter, because it's a very fun drink this. So get your cocktail shaker and put some ice. Again, 45 ice cubes. The first ingredient to go in, guys, is 2 ounces or 60ml of vodka. Again, we're using Grey Goose. Next up is 3 1/4 ounce or 22.5 ml of triple sec. We're using a Cointreau. Last but not least, it's 22.5 ml or 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice. So put your lid on, give it a bang. Now give it a good shake, 8 to 10 seconds to get nice and chilled. So give it a bang to separate. There we go. Put your strainer on and now double strain it into your shot glasses. And there we go. The kamikaze drink or kamikaze shot or shooter. Can't wait to try these. It's a very famous drink, this. Now if you enjoyed my lemon drop video, you'll like this as well. It's very similar, especially Cosmo lovers or the lemon drop lover will love the kamikaze drink on cocktail as well. They'll love it. So I would recommend it. So for the kamikaze shot now, we'll go down on both. So as I'll give my thoughts on it. Cheers. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Especially if you love your lime and lemons as well. It gives it that nice bit of taste, the backbone of this drink and shot. This is absolutely beautiful and I would recommend it. So I'll go kick to it. But just to freshen up, I will have this cocktail again as I'll give you a proper taste, note for it. Quite tarty, but I do like it because I like the lemon drop. I do like the fresh lime juice. What gives it that? One thing I like about this cocktail is I'm glad I used a Grey Goose, a quality vodka for such a cocktail and drink. It deserves it. You can taste it. It's very, very similar to Cosmo. You can see the difference with the cranberry juice and the fresh lime juice or lemon juice for a lemon drop. That's only things that change between the three. But that, guys, is the kamikaze cocktail and the kamikaze drink or shots or shooters. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mix It. If you wish to see more cocktails like this, do let me know in the comments below. Any cocktail recommendations or drinks or shots, because I do them all. If there's anyone you want to see in this channel, just let me know. But that is the kamikaze cocktail, the kamikaze shot, and I will see you guys for the next cocktail video. Cheers.
Thank you very much to Mixed for providing today's half-time entertainment. So we've got kick-off here for the second half. Newcastle have brought Livramento and Miley on, making a couple of changes. And we'll see how them changes work for them. I think Kieran Trippier has come off. I'm not too sure who else has come on. I'll just have a look. It's Willock that's also come off, so Livramento and Miley on. So we're just 12 likes now. We're making good progress. We're nearly at 100, 12 likes away. Any help towards that would be much appreciated, guys. I think, how many in a row are we on now with streams getting 100 likes? Let me have a look. PT, you're right. I think everybody's got that PTSD from the Feyenoord game, so you can't stop. Can't afford to stop. Let's have a look. How many streams in a row have we got 100 likes on now? We've done well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 7. The PSG Man City game got 99. That's annoying. Right, if any of you guys are watching this, go on my channel. If you haven't left a thumbs up on that PSG Man City game that finished 4-2, please do leave a thumbs up. It's 1 like away. It's very annoying. Is Newcastle in a good position here? A chance to put a ball into the box. Josko Gvardiol wants a throw-in for Manchester City. The referee says no. Throw-in for Newcastle. As we're now just 10 likes away. We're into the nervous 90s now for likes. Livramento. Still another chance here for Newcastle to put a ball into the box. Are they going to, is the question. They're faffing around a little bit, Newcastle here. I mean, the message is pretty clear for Manchester City. We've just got to see it out, really. Show defensively that we are good enough to compete. Newcastle are just going to try and look for a goal to try and get back into the game. So I think the longer that City can keep the clean sheet intact, the more we're likely to see Newcastle maybe just drop off and say, game's done. There we go. I think City have just got to keep pushing, try and get a fourth. And a free kick eventually given to Manchester City. It's Savinho down here and hurt. We're going to see the first yellow card of the game. It's going to be Bruno G going into the book. He's also hurt. Dave says Wakefield winning at Leeds in the Super League. And Bo, thanks for tuning in. Keeping an eye on the likes. We're making good progress. We're on 91 into the nervous 90s, 9 away. Peter says Ederson breaks the most assists for a goalkeeper in the Premier League. It's an incredible record to break. And there will come a time when Ederson's not at Manchester City, and I think it'll be a big loss. Let's get a look. Yeah, he just steps on the foot of Savinho there. It's not recklessly or reckless or dangerous. It hurts. The stud's going in. So free kick, yellow card, correct decision for me there from the referee. Both players up and good to go, which is good to see. As we're now into the 50th minute. So don't forget, leave a thumbs up. 9 likes to go to 100. Subscribe if you're new around here, and do check out today's video sponsor, SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. Keeping an eye on the other scores as well. Norwich City grabbed an equaliser away at Hull. And City have kept that in, and yeah, not surprised to see Marmoush commit a tactical foul there. Referee's going to stop the game, though. Murphy's down with an injured back. I think he just lands. Yeah, he lands heavily on his back there. I think it's Miley that's brought down by Omar Marmoush. I'm surprised Omar Marmoush hasn't been given a yellow card for his cynical foul, tactical foul, whatever you want to call it. As we're now 8 likes away from 100, so any help towards that would be great. Making good progress. Bruno G's in a lot of pain, but he's gritting his teeth and getting on with it. He's trying to help his team. Captain for Newcastle today. Wants to lead by example. So Newcastle with a free kick just inside their own half. There was a chance for them to put a ball into the City box. They've sent a lot of players forward. That's a good run, and straight from the training ground, and Man City in the end do a good bit of defending, and who else but John Stones to get the clearance and out for a corner to Newcastle, as we're now 6 likes away from 100. Keeps himself onside there as well. John Stones does well, cuts it off, puts it out for a corner, and you regroup, it's what you do. So more defending for City to do. Corner comes in by Newcastle. Header should be won by City, but it'll go out for another corner, this time on the opposite side. Khusanov winning the header. all things. Yeah, his distribution, never been anything wrong with Ederson's distribution. He's always been excellent with his distribution. His ability to find a long-range pass is very good. His varied passing's very good. His reading's not the best, and his shot stopping isn't the best. But overall, you know, I think he's a really good goalkeeper. I'm not too sure I see him at Manchester City come the end of the season, so he would need replacing, and there'd have to be a world-class goalkeeper brought in to replace him, because I like Stefan Ortega, but I don't think long-term is the answer for Manchester City. He's a good goalkeeper, a good shot stopper. Too good, I've always said it, to be on Man City's bench. I just don't think he's good enough to be Man City's number one. I mean, he's a bad goalkeeper. Not by any stretch. He's too good to be sat on the bench. But to me, not good enough to be the number one. Rain says, who has the worst fans? I mean, it depends. It depends. Depends if we're talking online or are we talking in the stadium. If we're talking online, I mean, it's a toss-up between United and Arsenal for me. Liverpool not too far behind. Ball comes forward there from Newcastle. It will be cut off. If we're talking in the stadium, Chelsea fans are notorious. They can be, how do I put this in a PG term? Classless. Liverpool's got a rep. Should be cut off this by Newcastle. City just trying to spring an attack into the penalty area. Will be cut off by Newcastle. So we tick away nearly 10 minutes off the clock here, and City have managed it. We're still 3-0 up, which is A-OK for me. As we're now just 3 likes from 100 guys, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Yeah, and Arsenal's got a big voice, a big presence online. A big voice to shout about not much in the last 20 years. Since they've done their invincible season, they've not had much to shout about. Haaland makes an interception in a dangerous area here for City, so there's a chance here that we could kill this game off. And Savinho fancies trying to get in on the goals as a shot. Asks the question of Dubravka in goal, and it's a comfortable save in the end for the Newcastle goalkeeper. Yeah, what do we reckon about the goalkeeper? If Ederson leaves, who would you go for? Seamus says Kelleher from Liverpool, the Irish goalkeeper, very good goalkeeper. James Trafford doing incredibly well with Burnley. I did say that he looked a bit out of his depth in the Premier League last season, but he looked out of his depth because he'd not had that experience in the Championship. He'd gone straight from League One to the Premier League, and it's a big adjustment. It's difficult. He's now having his season in the Championship and keeping clean sheet after clean sheet, looking very, very good. And for me now, he's ready again to make that step into the Premier League. So if Burnley are promoted, then to me, it'd be silly to leave and not remain their number one goalkeeper. But if they're not promoted, could City make a move? I mean, the problem I have is I don't think Trafford's ready yet to be a number one goalkeeper for Man City. He is homegrown, so it helps us with that. I think if Stefan Ortega left, and I wouldn't rule out Ederson staying for another season and Stefan Ortega leaving and City needing a number two for a season, seeing how James Trafford does for a season, because I presume that City have included a buyback clause, as that was a good corner that from City. It's not often I say it was a good corner, but it was nice to just put a ball into the box. Haaland wins the header. Gets it on target. Again, asks the question of the keeper. Callum Doyle, again, he's got heaps of experience in the Championship, and he's more than good enough for the Championship. For me, he's ready to make the step into the Premier League, and if we're not going to use him around the first team squad next season, and I'd take him to the Club World Cup. I'd see how he does in the Club World Cup. He'll finish earlier than Manchester City, so I'd give him 4 or 5 weeks off, bring him in for the Club World Cup and see how he does. Treat the Club World Cup as our pre-season. Give him his opportunity, see how he does, and trains around the first team. And if we think he's ready to spend a season around the first team, then do it. If not, send him out on loan to a Premier League team. As we're now just 1 like away from 100, so who wants to be the 100th like? Another sensational live stream and a sensational effort by you guys, so double respect from me, guys, as we do it 100 likes. Another 100 like live stream. Much appreciated, guys. City 3-0 up. We're approaching the hour mark. We're looking fresh. We're looking energised. We're looking good. Paul, thank you very much for leaving a thumbs up, and thank you to everybody that has left a thumbs up. Much appreciated. Big shout out to all you guys, making it a privilege to do these live watch-alongs with you guys. I know you guys enjoy them. I enjoy doing them, so it's like a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. Is City coming forward again? They want that 4th. Hour mark's a good time to grab that 4th as well. Seal the deal. Make it happen. Oh, my word. Speaking of former City players, speaking about Callum Doyle, James Trafford, Liam Delap. Ipswich 1-0 up at Aston Villa. Liam Delap with the goal. Boy's doing very well. I can see Ipswich maybe being relegated, and if that is the case, there will be teams queuing up for Liam Delap, which means if he does leave and it isn't to City, we're going to lose our buyback on him. Would anybody sign him again and sell him for profit and get another buyback in? I personally think the Liam Delap Man City train's left. But we'll see. FD, thanks for tuning in. City looking very good. Marmoush looking very good as well. Peter, do I think we've got a chance on Wednesday? I mean, 1 second is Newcastle. I felt Guimaraes should have had a shot, and now they will have a shot, and it's a good save from Ederson. It's not had anything to do all game, and he has to pull off a big save there. It's straight at him. It's not clinical from Newcastle, and again, it's just reiterating, City have got to manage this game. The last thing we want to do with half an hour to go is give Newcastle a route back into the game. Manage this game and see it out. It's as important that Man City can see out a 3-0 as it is to go out and score a 4th. Prove that you can see games out, that you can manage games, you can manage expectations, because it's something we've struggled with so much this season. Game management. Pete says he'd bring Liam Delap back. It's an interesting one. What do we do? Don't want to lose that buyback. He's a class player, but if you bring him back, how do you fit him in as City get themselves a corner? Right. Peter, a lot depends on how City are going to approach the game. A lot of people want us to go all-out attack on Real Madrid because we're trailing by... Well, we need to win by 2. But for me, I think you've got to manage that game. And I think you've got to keep it tight. And when the opportunities come about, much like today, there's not been that many opportunities, but when the opportunities have been there, you take them and you pick it off. It's what you've got to do. And if we can defend well, and I think the only way for us to go through is we keep a clean sheet. The attack for Real Madrid's so good that keeping Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo and Jude Bellingham quiet, it's going to be so difficult. The press was there, but Marmoush, Nico Gonzalez, they're fit to go. Stones, get Ruben Dias back, Ake back, and everyone's fit. There's a chance. But it's going to be difficult. And I said it last week. People were accusing me of being reactionary. Maybe, maybe not, but I'm going to stick with what I said. I think you're not going to win at home in your Champions League first leg against a team as good as Real Madrid. I think you're going out. They've got too much quality, too much experience. You're talking about the best team in the Champions League. It'll be a heck of an effort. I'll be very surprised if we can do it. It's not impossible. It can be done. AC Milan have already won by 2 in the Champions League there, but this season. But that's in the group stage when they've got other games where they can rectify a bad result. It's a knockout point now. And I hope, I live in hope. What I'd say is more realistic is City can go to the Bernabeu and maybe win by 1. That takes us to extra time, but tired legs, aging legs, winning by 1, even that's difficult. Maybe you get it to extra time. Maybe you get it to penalties. That'd be a dream, but again, Real Madrid's mentality is just, it's so different. It's so difficult. And for me, I'm going to go in with real low expectations. I just want us to put in a good performance. If we go out, we go out. As I was saying at the start of the stream, I have no problem with going out. Keep it respectable. Go in, try your best. And if we go out with our heads held high. We give Real Madrid a heck of a game. We put them through the war. And we move from there. And by the time we get to the end of February, if we've gone out, we're playing every week. The schedule gets easier. We're able to rotate, work on fitness for the remainder of the season, and we can go from there. So there's positives. We go through, we knock out an incredible team, and you've got to take belief that we can win the competition, because any team capable of knocking Real Madrid out of the Champions League is capable of winning it. If not, then we get to work on our fitness, and we can focus on our aim, the minimum expectation, a top 4 finish. And helping with that is Fulham. 2-1 up now against Nottingham Forest at home. And City on course here for 3 points. We go 4th with the win, and we've got Nottingham Forest coming up. And there's no reason to suggest that if City can pick up a really good result next weekend against Liverpool, win our home games, then all of a sudden, what are we looking at? We can get 7 points from our next 3 Premier League games after this. It's 10 points from 4. Puts us in a really strong position for the top 4. Ahead of what some would suggest favourable fixtures. But business end of the season, we're more experienced. We know more about it than any other team. Business end of the season, anything can happen. Everyone's trying to do anything and everything. Scrapping and scraping at the bottom of the league. Even mid-table teams, they want to spring a surprise. They want to spoil the party. And this is often where we see City at their very best. Now, Peter, I originally thought that if City went out, we'd be in the Europa League, but my understanding is if we go out on Wednesday, that's us done in Europe, out of everything. We're not dropping into the Europa League. We're not dropping into the Conference League. We're out of Europe. They've got rid of that Champions League thing once you hit the league stage and going into the Europa League. It's one of them rare seasons where I'd have quite liked us to have gone into the Europa League, because I think we'd have been, with how we've been this season, I think we'd have been a really strong contender to win the Europa League. It's a trophy that we've not won before. Gets everybody to enjoy European away days that maybe they wouldn't normally be able to do. And also, it's a route into the Champions League for next season, but no, we're out of Europe if we go out on Wednesday. So it's do all or end all, really, on Wednesday. And the good news is, because we're speaking about other stuff, means there's not much going on, which means Man City are chipping away here at the clock. 25 minutes to go. So don't forget, leave a thumbs up. We're now aiming for 115 likes. 115. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe and do check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Long ball sent forward again by City. It's connecting again. Marmoush is having an incredible game for Manchester City. Omar Marmoush. What a player. What a way to get your City account underway with a hat-trick as well. Unbelievable. So, I'll put the question to you guys. What point do you start thinking about making changes? I think for me, I start thinking about it in the next 5 minutes, I reckon. I don't think I start messing around with the back line or midfield. I start thinking about the attackers. Because to me, if we don't end up winning this game, it's not down to the attackers not doing the job. Omar Marmoush has done that for the attackers. So for me, I start thinking about Foden, I start thinking about Haaland, and I start tightening up that midfield. And I start giving some opportunities to fresh young players to be given some minutes and to come on. That's what I would do here in the next 5 minutes. Peter reckons 75. So I'm going slightly earlier. Just thinking about the Real Madrid game. Tony reckons job done now. Peter, I like the old Champions League layout. To me, it's not broken. Why does it need fixing? Shake up the league format, fine, okay? We can work with that. But when it comes to the knockout stage, I like the Champions League teams are given an opportunity in the Europa League. I mean, the last thing UEFA want would be big teams going out of Europe completely. Yet they face the facts here of Man City or Real Madrid going out the Champions League and out of Europe on Wednesday. They won't like that. You know, you ask the Europa League, what would they rather happen in the Europa League? Do they want AS Roma taking on... What should we go for? Victoria Plzen, for example? Or do they want AS Roma taking on Real Madrid or Man City? Where's the interest going to be? Well, they want the whole point was they want the biggest and best names in the competitions. We'll get rid of that. Please don't spam the chat. Spammers on the way. Out. We've not got time for that. FD Haaland, it's been a pretty quiet game for him. He's not needed to do anything. Hence I take him off. You know, if he's not needed, save him for Real Madrid. Did a cracking job grabbing a brace on Tuesday. I take him off. I think City are just a bit wary about that Feyenoord game, so they're not doing the changes. But the whole point of rotating and resting players was, you know, likes of De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. They're the players I don't want to see. Like Ake and Ruben Dias, they're not in the squad, they're not going to feature. So I see no point in Bernardo and De Bruyne coming on. For me, it's all about the young players. Vitor Reis, Nico O'Reilly, James McAtee. I give them minutes. Doku's not had many minutes, so I chuck him on. I see what he can do. And I think that would be my change. Haaland off, Doku on. But I think City will be just a bit wary about wanting to get McAtee on a new contract. So if that's the case, maybe McAtee comes on, but Haaland would be the one I'd take off. Savinho's had a cracking game, Peter. Cracking game. Seamus says, leave the team. Light training. It'll be light. They won't be doing much in terms of preparing for Real Madrid. I'm just a bit conscious about, you know, any players, just a reckless challenge here or there, just when you don't need to take the risk. I look at the team and I'm thinking to myself, who starts? John Stones has made it through 70 minutes, so I don't see him coming off. Do you run the risk of John Stones? In particular when Ruben Dias and Nathan Ake are struggling for fitness themselves and Akanji's already long-term. Last thing we want is a long-term injury to John Stones. It's the last thing we need. So, I don't think I go with John Stones on. I leave John Stones here. I let him see this game out and I don't start John Stones on Wednesday. Just thinking about that, how injury-prone he is. I can see Ake and Ruben Dias starting that game if they're fit. I think if Ake's not fit, I go with Khusanov. Do you go Nunes or do you go Rico Lewis? I mean, Rico Lewis hasn't done anything wrong in this game to, you know, you earn your starts. He's been given the opportunity here against a tough Newcastle team. He's not done anything wrong. So, does Rico Lewis start on Wednesday? Nico Gonzalez only just come back from injury. I mean, he might be one I'd be tempted to maybe take off very soon. Is Newcastle in and the offside flag up? So we're into the final 90 minutes. Don't forget, leave a thumbs up. Now 8 likes away from 115 likes. Any help towards that would be great. Do subscribe. And do check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Julia says Aston Villa have equalised. They have, yes. Ollie Watkins with the equaliser against Ipswich. I imagine it's going to be 20 minutes of a barrage on the Ipswich goal there from Aston Villa. Oh, I've not seen anything of the football today in the early kickoffs. I've just seen that Merino scored twice late on for Arsenal. as Southampton have just grabbed a goal back against Bournemouth. You know, if Villa or Bournemouth can drop points today, I'd be very happy with that. Takes a bit of pressure off us. We've already seen Chelsea lose yesterday. Nottingham Forest, if they drop points as well, it's a big bonus for us. And a win here kind of takes the slack off City heading into next week's game against Liverpool. But for me, I'm looking at our next 2 Premier League games, Liverpool at home and Tottenham Hotspur away. And I think in one of them 2 games, got to win. I want 4 points from them 2 games. I think Jeremy Doku's coming on. The Brighton-Chelsea game. I caught bits of the second half. Brighton looked quite sharp. It was very scrappy and end-to-end. A bit of what I like to describe as a nip-and-tuck game. Chelsea never really looked comfortable. And Brighton, when they had the opportunities, scored the goals. Chelsea blow hot and cold. A very hit and miss. I look like it went out of play there from City, but it hasn't. And here's Josko Gvardiol coming forward. Again, getting a bit scrappy in this game. It's important that City navigate this. Yeah, it is Doku that's going to come on. I heard it's Marmoush. Scored his hat-trick. He's ready to come off. The Egyptian Pharaoh is ready to do a good job for City. And it looks like he's going to be the player that makes way. Lovely slick football this from City. Here's Foden. Tries to zip a pass in for Haaland, but there was too much zip. And straight into the hands of Dubravka. It's not been a fluent second half, this from City, but it hasn't needed to be. The important thing was making sure we're not giving Newcastle any opportunities. And other than that one chance that they had, which was well saved from Ederson, albeit it was straight at him, Newcastle haven't really created too much. But I said both teams to score. I said 3-1 Manchester City. So, as Peter says, I can see Newcastle grabbing a goal. But if they are to get a goal, I want it to come as late as possible into this game. And the last thing I want is Newcastle tails up last 15 minutes and Man City having to be backed up into a corner. We don't want this to be a hard-working last 15 minutes. We want it to be smooth sailing. Navigate our way through these last phase of the game. Get a couple of subs on. McAtee's also coming on for City, so that's what I said. And this now is the danger that when the changes come is when Man City take the foot off the gas and where City end up getting some problems. So, how they're going to navigate it through the substitutions. But I did say if we're making substitutions, make sure it's the attacking players first. So, who's going to come off? So, Omar Marmoush, he comes off. Scores a hat-trick. Excellent from Omar Marmoush. Scores his first City goal today and a hat-trick as well. He's coming off. And Jeremy Doku comes on. Standing ovation from the crowd, the Etihad crowd. He deserves it, Omar Marmoush. Outstanding. From the Egyptian Pharaoh. And he comes off to a round of applause. And he's fit and ready to go for the Real Madrid game. I imagine we're probably going to see Omar Marmoush start that game. That'll be one of the changes that we made from last Tuesday. Omar Marmoush got to be starting that game. We need creativity. We need goals. Marmoush, creates space, creates opportunities. So, for me, yeah. Foden, the other, we will be seeing him on Wednesday as well. He comes off. I have a feeling that Man City are going to adapt a bit of a siege mentality heading into that game against Real Madrid to gear themselves up. Can they create a memorable night in the Champions League? I think this is the importance of having second legs in at home. Helps with that siege mentality to create that atmosphere. Oh dear. There is a player down here for Man City. It's John Stones. I think he was just bundled over his back up. That's good news. He was just bundled over. He's good to go. So, last 14 minutes for City to see out. Hopefully, drama-free. In an ideal world, and I said before, and I'm going to repeat it, the importance that Man City can not only push on and grab a fourth goal that completely kills the game, but show that they're capable of navigating through a tricky spell to see out the result that they've already got. Keep a clean sheet, see out a 3-0. To me, that's just as important as grabbing a fourth, showing that we can do it. Here's Doku then. He's got 13 minutes, see what he can do. It'd be good here for City just to have a bit of a bang-bang and a couple of quick-fire goals, turn a 3-0 into a 5-0. It takes Newcastle's goal difference. It's a change in the goal difference because they're on the same goal difference as us heading into this. So we score 3, they lose 3. So it's almost like double goal difference. So if we could score a couple more, all of a sudden, bam, bam, it's a swing of 10 goal difference, and that's huge. Goal difference is an extra point. Definitely got to be Omar Marmoush for man of the match for me. Definitely got to be. Can't be anyone else. Scored a hat-trick. We're 3-0 up. We're on course for 3 points. Blackburn double their lead. Not slowing down despite their manager John Eustace leaving to join Derby County, who are struggling towards the foot of the table. For Blackburn, who are in a playoff spot. Bit of an odd move, but I presume there's a reason, whether that be better pay or moving closer to family or maybe both or something. There's got to be more to it than meets the eye, as Sheffield United have just scored a late goal against Luton Town, away from home. Former Premier League team. I think they're at the foot of the table in the Championship. Looking like they might be a League One team. Back-to-back relegations for Luton, perhaps. Here's City then into a good position, trying to just knock it round. Newcastle should defend that out and will. Oh, that's a lovely pass into the channel, and that's really good defending there. I don't know which player that was. Was that Nico Gonzalez? Nico Gonzalez has had a very good game, you know. Been a bit of an unsung hero for City. How much sharper we've looked with Nico Gonzalez there. Really helped Man City's midfield today. I mean, we was all worried about Rico Lewis and legs of Ilkay Gundogan, but it's just not been the case. And I feel like it's been a combo of how good Man City have looked in terms of their freshness of legs in defence and midfield, but also how good City have looked with being clinical in front of goal, because it's always a bit easier to defend when you're 3-0 up, as Khusanov penalised there for being too aggressive on Lewis Hall. He's not happy with that decision, Kodiya Khusanov, but free kick it is. And as I said at the beginning of the game, how important it is that if we're going to be aggressive in defence, make sure that we're matching that when we concede the set pieces, that we defend really well on them set pieces. We concede the free kick, so make sure that we defend the free kick properly. As we enter into the final 10 minutes of this game, so 10 minutes just to see out here. At Blackburn, they've got lots of players out of contract. There's something not quite right at Blackburn yet. They're riding a really good form and a good feel-good factor there. So I feel like it is a now or never case for Blackburn, as there is a VAR check for a penalty for Newcastle as that set piece came in. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a little shoulder-to-shoulder coming together between Josko Gvardiol and, I'm not too sure was it Fabian Schar that went down? Never ever a penalty. Never ever a penalty. Anyway, guys, we're just 2 likes away from 115, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget as well to subscribe if you are new around here, and do check out today's video sponsor, SofaScore. Rain, Kodiya Khusanov's looked sharp and good. For me, he's one of the players that potentially starts for City against Real Madrid, so for me, he's not put a foot wrong, so if you're not putting a foot wrong, it's a solid 8 out of 10 performance. City's defences look good. Stones has looked good. Josko Gvardiol's looked good. Nico Gonzalez has looked good. It's been all round a good, solid performance from City for me. It is really good to see the new players doing really well. Really good to see. City just trying to slow the game down now. I feel like 8 minutes or so remaining. To me, this game's done now. This is where I start to make changes. Nico O'Reilly comes on. Who else have we got on the bench? Let's have a look. Commentator's just saying disappointed with Newcastle here. It's a 14-minute hat-trick from Omar Marmoush has done Newcastle today. So I'm having a look at the bench. So for me, O'Reilly, Vitor Reis, these are players that I'd like to see come on. As Doku into the penalty area. Can he get a ball across? He can. Savinho, he's had a good game, deserves a goal, gets a deflection, gets a corner for Manchester City. Yeah, for me, O'Reilly, Vitor Reis, they're players I'd like to see. Kovacic maybe just come on, help navigate it. 5 subs allowed. Big game coming up against Real Madrid. For me, the game's done and dusted. Yeah. Stockport having a very good game. Very good season. Very good season. Could potentially be a championship team next season. Corner then for City. Gundogan to take. Just 7 minutes remaining. Flicked on. Oh! James McAtee with a goal for Manchester City and it's 4-0. A set piece was scored from a corner. Miracles do happen. James McAtee. I think there's a flick on there from Manchester City and he's in the right place at the right time just to pop it into the back of the net. And that 4th now means we can relax. Manchester City will beat Newcastle. Can we keep the clean sheet now is the question. AFC Bournemouth wrapping up the 3 points you'd think as well. They're 3-1 up now against Southampton in that South Coast derby. Keeping pressure on the top 4. Good stuff to see. Got to see substitutions now. I want to see triple subs. I want to see 3. Make them subs. Start thinking about Real Madrid. Vitor Reis. He comes on for me. Get him his Premier League debut. Yeah, the subs are coming now. Vitor Reis, Nico O'Reilly, 2 young players coming on. And Kovacic, JSGC called it. Yes! All 5 subs that I called for, all spot on. Triple change then for City. Vitor Reis, Mateo Kovacic, Nico O'Reilly. Gundogan has had a very good game. To be fair, he's looked very composed when he's needed to start for City, Ilkay Gundogan. As we hit 115 likes as well. This has been a monumental live stream, everybody. Thank you so much for making it really enjoyable, guys. Honestly, means the world to me. Peter, he's not too far away. Had a bit of an injury setback, which I think's just set him back a couple of weeks. Oh, Erling Haaland's down. In pain. Oh, he's down. No. Mullen, thanks for tuning in. Oh, it's a knee injury. No. Time out. I presume Haaland would have been one of the players going off, but this is the last thing we need. Pep's got his hands on his head. This is not what we need. Let's have a look. Oh, it's unchallenged as well. Something's gone in his knee. I don't believe this. Something's gone in his knee. He's getting some treatment here, Erling Haaland. This isn't good. And he's back on his feet. He's walking. That's a good thing. He's walking. Can walk off. He'll applaud the crowd. The bigger question is, does he go straight down the tunnel? That will tell me everything I need to know. Haaland's applauding everybody. He's happy to... He seems all right. He exchanges some messages there for his players. Pep Guardiola gives him a little pat and kiss. Does he go down the tunnel? Or does he go straight onto the bench? And he's going... Yeah, perfect. He's just going to go and sit down on the bench. Gundogan's also going off. Right, that's good. That's good news. He doesn't want any more treatment. He's just telling the staff at the back. I think he just felt a bit of discomfort on his knee. I do wonder if Erling Haaland's just maybe thought to himself, as Josko Gvardiol's also gone off. I do wonder if he's just maybe gone down and just said, let's make these subs now. I'm going to make the point for these subs to be made now. Stop waiting. I'm sure we'll get an update from Pep Guardiola. I don't think City will want to take any chances. So I presume Nico O'Reilly's going to go in at... So Haaland goes off. Matheus Nunes has come on. Who's he come on for? Who's not come on here for City? Somebody was coming on and they've not come on. Who is it? Let's have a look. Let's get confirmation of these subs. Right. Vitor Reis was set to come on to make his Premier League debut. And he's not come on. Matheus Nunes has come on instead. Along with Nico O'Reilly and Mateo Kovacic. So, I think it's Nico O'Reilly that's come on for Ilkay Gundogan. And he will go... He's gone in at left-back where Josko Gvardiol was. Kovacic has gone where Gundogan was. And I think Matheus Nunes is going to be given the freedom in attack in place of Erling Haaland. So I don't think City were planning to bring Haaland off. I think the plan was John Stones comes off. Or Khusanov comes off. A strange one, that, by Manchester City. So Vitor Reis has not come on. So I said JSGC called it. I was a bit premature. I haven't called it. Vitor Reis hasn't come on. So we're soon going to go into the first of 4 minutes to be added on. I have no idea why we're adding 4 minutes on when this game's done and dusted. So it's been perfect this for Manchester City. Kraft's going to come on for Newcastle. I presume he's going to come on for... Oh no, I thought he was going to come on for Dan Burn. But he's not. So Newcastle making another change. So it's Isak that goes off and sent a defender on. Newcastle now just wanting to preserve Alexander Isak, and they'll say we'll go again. It's been a perfect performance this from City. Omar Marmoush is going to get my JSGC man of the match. A 14-minute hat-trick, getting his City account underway. It's been perfect from City. So, that's incredible. 16 Premier League defeats away from home in a row by Newcastle away at the Etihad against City. But I am going to end the stream upon the full-time whistle so I can crack on with doing my match reaction for you guys to enjoy, which will be up before 6 PM for you guys to enjoy. So I wanted to thank each and every one of you for interacting with me today. It is much appreciated and does mean the world to me. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will be doing another live stream on Wednesday night for Manchester City's game against Real Madrid. Anything can happen, we'll see. We're going with low expectations, and you never know. So don't forget, if you are new around here, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget as well, social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. I think for the thumbs up, we're at 120 likes, which is a sensational effort. In the post-production, we're going to aim for, let's go for 130 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Coventry have grabbed a last-minute winner away against Sheffield Wednesday. Some limbs there, I'm sure, in that away end. 92nd minute, Ellis Sims. I think, Seamus, you might be right with Haaland has something in his contract. He can't be brought off unless he's scored a goal. He wants that goal. This is it. Overused. It was a perfect time to take him off, and we weren't planning on doing so. Maybe Haaland's just making a point that he wants to come off. Hopefully we'll get clarification from Pep Guardiola that it's nothing serious and he'll be good to go for Wednesday, hopefully. I think Haaland might have just felt a bit of discomfort, pulled up and said, I want to come off, because he's seen that he wasn't coming off. So there we go. Dave, sorry to hear that about Middlesbrough losing against Watford. William, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Well, I don't understand why they've added 4 minutes on. Peter, I will see you then. Wednesday. 8 PM kickoff, so 7:30 PM GMT I'll be live. I will have all the build-up to that as well from Monday for you guys to enjoy. Going to have treat myself. I'm going to have a day off tomorrow. A day off! Oh, a day off! Right, we've just got 1 more minute remaining. 1 more minute to navigate our way through, and then we're done for today's live stream. I'll have my match reaction up in the next hour for you guys to enjoy, so I will see you then. Literally just waiting for confirmation that Man City picking up the win and a clean sheet and heading into 4th place in the Premier League. And a perfect way for us to head into the match against Real Madrid on Wednesday. That's what we're looking for. No defensive collapse today. A clean sheet. A hat-trick for Marmoush. 4 goals. We're loving life. What a brilliant Saturday. All we want now is confirmation that Haaland's fine and good to go, and we're happy. The perfect Saturday. And who would have thought it? Gundogan and Lewis starting was all unhappy at the start. What do we know? We're not Pep. We're not Pep. Rightio. That is the full-time whistle, and Manchester City win this game. Brilliant win. It's arguably one of the best wins that we've had all season. At home against Newcastle by 4-0. Not an easy thing to do. So don't forget, leave a thumbs up. Do subscribe. Social media links in the description. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Whilst we're live for another 30 seconds or so, leave your thoughts, your full-time thoughts in the live chat. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, and a big thank you to SofaScore. Fantastic stuff. Do go and check out SofaScore. Links and details, they are in the description. And siege mentality, guys. Wednesday, Real Madrid. We've got nothing to lose at the Bernabeu, and we'll be covering it all. I will see you for the next stream on Wednesday, 7:30 PM GMT sharp. Bring it on. It's do all or end all for Manchester City. Cracking win here. 3 points. 4 goals, hat-trick for Marmoush. What a lovely Saturday. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I will see you all for the next one. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.